Unleash the power of knowledge and connect with the heartbeat of the African diaspora. Download our African Diaspora News Channel app now on Google Play and Apple App Store. Stay informed with authentic and diverse perspectives, breaking news, and cultural insights. Immerse yourself in a community that celebrates unity, resilience, and progress. Experience the vibrancy of the diaspora at your fingertips. Don't miss out. Empower your perspective today. Search African Diaspora News Channel and join the conversation.
Hello, African Diaspora News family. My name is Reneilwe Morema, and I am your host right here on the African Diaspora News Channel. I'm reporting live from Johannesburg, South Africa. The Democratic Alliance Federal Council Chairperson Helen Zille has issued a stern warning to President Cyril Ramaphosa that if he reshuffles his cabinet and shows DA ministers the door, it would mark the end of the Government of National Unity, the GNU. We have a coalition agreement that we have a specific number in the cabinet, less than it should have, but indeed we do have a specific number. If Ramaphosa fires DA ministers, it's his choice to end the GNU. Simple as that, Zille said in an interview with SABC News. The DA joined the GNU after the African National Congress, the ANC, failed to garner enough support to govern alone during last year's general elections. The DA party has 6 ministers and 6 deputy ministers in the GNU. Zille's remarks comes amid calls from ANC members urging ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa to take actions against the DA after it did not support the passage of the 2025 national budget. I think the ANC members are mistaken in their statement. The DA did not oppose the 2025 national budget or the tax increase. As I've mentioned in my previous segment, they said they will support the national budget if the president scraps the land expropriation bill. Meaning they negotiated a better deal for the white people of this country. As I've mentioned in my previous segment, the tax increase will not dent the wallets of white people, regardless if they increase or not, because this is a white-backed economy. They look out for their own. Meanwhile, the tax increase will definitely cripple black people to death. They can hardly afford to live in the current tax rate. Increasing it is a death sentence, but the scrapping of the Land Expropriation Act will be the ultimate betrayal. If the land expropriation without compensation policy or any legislation related to land reform is scrapped in South Africa, especially the expropriation bill, it would carry deep symbolic, social and economic consequences, particularly for black South Africans. It will be a major betrayal of the promise of democracy. Land is not just property. It's about identity, injustice, and dignity. Scrapping expropriation bill could feel like the democratic government has failed to address the core injustice of apartheid. Widening inequality. Most land remains in white hands, and without strong reform, the wealth and opportunity gap between black and white South Africans could widen further, fueling resentment and poverty. Loss of hope in restitution. So many communities have waited decades to have their ancestral lands returned. Removing the prospect of land expropriation may close off even the little hope they had for true restitution. I mean, the DA must not act holier than thou when we all know whose interest they are looking out for in the GNU.
The GNU is not about the DA. Incidentally, the DA is one of the biggest parties after the ANC in the GNU. But that doesn't mean that the standing of the GNU will depend on whether the ANC and the DA agree to cooperate. It depends on whether or not parties who are in the GNU have agreed into a particular direction. If the DA decide to walk away, the GNU is going to remain. I can give assurance to that because the GNU is not the Democratic Alliance. It's made up of non-political parties who have signed a statement of intent and committed to work together and, where possible, reach consensus and compromises in order to ensure that the country succeeds. And if the DA has taken a view that this is about them, which is what they've been doing, they've been leading a public campaign very negative, ridiculing the ANC, that we're just a 39% party, we can't be taken serious, we lost elections, we depend on them. We decided not to respond on all of those things, but then because we are a political party. We are not just any other thing. We are a liberation movement which has a responsibility to engage in a dignified and constructive way. We've done that. We're convinced that other than the DA, that parliament is going to stand united in passing the budget today in the portfolio committee and tomorrow in the city. What then happens to the DA, that is up to them to respond to that issue. But the budget is going to go ahead with or without the DA supporting the passing of the budget.
The identity of the government of national unity does not revolve around the DA. The country was functioning before the GNU and the DA. They should stop using fear-mongering tactics that was used by their forefathers of apartheid government to stop the progression of this country. How can the ANC allow such a party to be in a coalition with them, knowing very well they still carry the identity of the apartheid government and practicing apartheid ideologies? The apartheid government used to say if blacks take over, this country will collapse, prompting white citizens to start a racial war around 1993. Now the DA is saying the country will collapse if the president removes DA ministers for opposing the national budget. Can you see? Like there's no difference between the apartheid government and the DA. It's just, different political parties, same face, different political parties. They still share the same sentiment as their forefathers of apartheid. How can the ANC jump into bed with that? Come on. They chose them over Julius Malema and Jacob Zuma, knowing very well that these two political parties, the MK and the EFF, have the same policies with the ANC. I mean, after all, the MK and the EFF were once part of the ANC before they broke off thanks to corruption and disputes within the party. But in reality, they all share the same policies. Why can't they unite once again? Why do they have to search further into the Western Cape to have a coalition? I don't know what the ANC was trying to prove. If the GNU was to represent inclusivity, they failed. One thing that made the apartheid government work is because there was no inclusivity. It was white people coming together to rule, and they all had the same concepts, the same principles, and that's what made them successful. To be honest, if we are being honest, we should learn from them that uniting as black people could make us more powerful and more successful. This racial inclusivity is going to be our downfall. During apartheid, you couldn't see Fairfoot, the architect of apartheid, saying, hey, Cyril Ramaphosa, Nelson Mandela, come and share power with us because you represent the majority that we are busy oppressing. No, no. He assembled a team of his white Avengers from Marvel Studio and DC, assembled them, and they ran this country to success to benefit them. So why can't we take the same ideology that uniting with blacks and other black progressive parties would be very beneficial for South Africa, and we can get true justice. We can get true justice from apartheid and people wouldn't have died in vain. But no, you wanted to prove that South Africa is a democratic state under the Rainbow Nation and we are all about inclusivity. Inclusivity, my ass. They are showing you what inclusivity is. One thing about the Boers, they will always boer. One thing about the Boers, they will never accept to be inferior. I mean, like, what a bold statement by Helen Zille saying the GNU will not function if the DA leaves. How many political parties are in the GNU? Unless the ANC lied and say it's a government of national unity when in reality it's an ANC-DA coalition. Because if it's a government of national unity, the DA is not the only party in the GNU. The ANC is not the only party in the GNU. There's Rise and Zanzi, there's PA, there's Freedom Front Plus. What are they saying? Why is it always ANC, DA, ANC, DA, ANC, DA? Why? They must be honest. Is it a government of national unity or is it an ANC-DA coalition? Because these threats are alluding to something. And that is what Zuma was trying to say when he took the SABC and other media outlets to court to say, stop saying the government of national unity. Stop calling this new government the government of national unity. It is not. Stop indoctrinating our people into believing this hogwash nonsense. Tell it like it is, Cyril Ramaphosa. it is a ANC-DA coalition. That's why the DA is so bold into making threats in the media without consequences. What do you think about this segment? Comment to us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share the broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss these groundbreaking conversations.